Well, good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to the February Lunchtime Hot Topics. This is Brad Neuenswander, Deputy Commissioner, and just kind of want to run you through the agenda. We are going to have an update today from Tammy Mitchell and Jay Scott. You all right, Nick? And they're going to give you an update on the Gemini 2 Redesign School project. This year they've been working with the Mercury 7. We have a round of 21 school districts that are Gemini 1s, and we're accepting applications for Gemini 2. So we'll be moving forward with that, and Jay and Tammy will give you a really good update. We also, Branden Johnson is going to give you an update on the CPR requirement that the board took action on, the state board, in December to include CPR language in our model health standards. So Branden will be the guy to give you an update on that. Lee Jones is going to provide you some updates on the state assessments coming up on the assessment time of the year for the spring. Jeanette Nobo is also going to be here to give you an update on KISA, kind of what's going on in this first year, as well as visitation teams and what to expect this spring. And then Nancy Lister is going to give you an update on our ELM project. We'll be doing some recruiting for that. And then Jackie Lakin's going to finalize it with an update on iStation. We have quite a few school districts across the state that are using iStation, so she'll give you an update with some additional information. I also want to bring to your attention a few events to have on your calendar. This is our first Civic Engagement Conference. That's going to be held February 19th here in Topeka. If you want to register, there's a link here. You can go to our events at KSDE. Be a good day to have a lot of students there sharing with us in school districts what they're doing around civic engagement. I also want to make sure to remind you that the third annual Kansans Can and Do Symposium is March 5th and 6th in Manhattan. Again, there's information on our website, but it's going to be a great couple days to find out from school districts what they're doing around the board vision and outcomes, as well as the Mercury 7 districts will be there sharing kind of their experience in their first year of planning for the launch around redesign. Also want to get on your calendars the Summer Impact Institutes. The first one will be held in Emporia June 5th and 6th, and the second one this summer, Fort Hays State University, July 17th and 18th. So again, just to get those placed on your calendars, and keep an eye out for more information coming up in the future about the different breakout sessions. Also, in late July, 25th and 26th, will be the Summer Leadership Conference for Administrators in Wichita. This is provide a lot of information about technical support for your most needy students. And then looking way down the road, we will, you might want to put on your calendars October 15th through 17th will be the annual KSDE conference. The first day on Monday being an assessment conference, and then the main conference will be on that Tuesday, Wednesday, October 16th and 17th. Again, I'd like to remind you at any time if you have questions or want additional information, send that to lunchtime@ksde.org. We're excited to get into this spring. I know everything seems busy, but there's a lot of excitement going on around the board's vision, the redesign, the schools, and where schools are with KISA. So we're excited to be on this journey with you. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Tammy Mitchell and my colleague Jay Scott. We're here to talk about Gemini 2, the spacewalk begins. We wanted to show you a few features on this page here that you can get to by going to the KSDE homepage and clicking on the banner that says Gemini 2.
We're so excited about the next iteration of redesigning Kansas, Gemini 2, and so we wanted to take just a few moments today on this lunchtime hot topics to talk through what the districts must do if you want to apply for Gemini 2. So as you can see on the website, the first thing is that as a school district, and remember these are district applications, these are not by building, but as a district, you must be willing and able to completely redesign one elementary, and I'm going to stop that for just a second. That should read completely redesign at least one elementary and at least one secondary school around the vision, outcomes, and definition of a successful high school graduate. And so a change from the Mercury application on the Gemini 2 is we're saying that at least an elementary and at least a secondary, either your middle school or your high school. And so if you're in a multi-building district, which there are several out there, what that's saying is that if you wanted to redesign your entire district, every building, that you could through Gemini 2. That's a possibility.
Each district and school must provide evidence and have approval by their school board with a vote, faculty with a vote of 80% or better, and the local Kansas National Education Association or other professional organization support. It is best practice that when you ask for a vote of staff, that it is an anonymous vote so that teachers don't feel pressured to vote in any particular way other than to vote how they really feel regarding being part of redesign.
And just as the Mercury schools had 1 year, the Gemini 2 schools will also have 1 year, so able and willing to launch a new school redesign in August of 2019. So it will be a 1 year process to go through redesign and launch in August of 2019 for the Gemini 2s.
And then once your redesign is up and running, schools must be willing to serve as demonstration site for other schools and districts to come and learn and visit and walk through.
And so one thing that as you scroll further down, there is the application right there on the website that you can easily click on and fill out.
Those applications, once completed, need to be sent electronically to Teresa Cody, tcody@ksde.org by April 2nd, 2018. So you might be wondering, well, how do we know if we even want to do this? Over here on the right, we have created some questions for you to consider. These are not questions we need to know the answers to, but they are questions that you might want to think about prior to applying. If you find that you're not maybe ready to apply for Gemini 2, I'm sure that there will be another iteration, whether it's Gemini 3 or whatever we call it. So these are things that you can be talking about now to determine your readiness. Number one, how knowledgeable are your administrators, board, teachers, and community with the board vision? And have you shared your local data with them around the board vision?
And then the second question, and again, it's not necessary that you answer in the positive to each of these questions. These are just questions for you as a district and your district team and your building teams to just kind of toss around and talk through these. But these are some that we feel like really need to be taken into consideration before considering applying for Gemini 2. The second question is, do stakeholders agree that a collaborative culture already exists? It does. That's one thing that Tammy and I have noticed throughout the Mercury project is how collaborative these buildings have been and how strong these teacher-led redesign teams are working together with the rest of the staff and how they connect with the larger school community. So whether you have some culture survey data in your district or you're considering doing that, we think that it's highly important to have a good handle on, to the degree that you have a collaborative culture, that before you, prior to applying to Gemini 2, that because it's definitely going to require a collaborative culture to move forward.
To piggyback on that, are school administrators willing to empower teachers and to share ownership of this redesign process? The process that we will be taking you through in a regional coaching model is very much not a top-down process. Now, we're not saying that there isn't a role for administrators, because there is, but empowering the teachers to really research and investigate the things that could be part of the redesign plan is crucial to the sustainability of any redesign effort.
And the next question is the district willing to look at reallocation of resources in support of redesign? Well, this is one of the bedrock principles as a state for redesign, is that we didn't feel like it was scalable. Redesign was scalable if it required additional resources. And so the Mercury schools have really taken a look at their existing resources and reallocating them to support their efforts in redesign.
And then, are you willing to allow students to have voice and choice in the redesign model? This is not just something that teachers create or administrators create, but it really involves getting feedback from your students, from your parents, your community, and your stakeholders. So really being open about having that collaboration take place throughout your community and not just within your school walls. So one of the things we're really excited about with the Gemini 2 is that we are building a way to support you all with regional coaching. We are working out the nuts and bolts in partnership with the area service centers, with USA, KNEA, KASB. They are all partners, and we're working on building this regional coaching model. That being said, there will be a time commitment.
Yeah, and that can't be understated, and it shouldn't be understated. The time commitment talks about, at least what we followed with the Mercuries, are on-site visits to the Mercury buildings every other week. And we've heard positive feedback from the Mercury schools that that's a minimum, because to completely reimagine and transform your system, and to plan all that out, pilot test some things, do all that in 1 year, it takes a different pace of change that frankly in education really we haven't seen before. And so this aggressive timeline that you have a third-party visit every other week is something that has worked for the Mercuries, and that we're certainly going to adopt for Gemini 2. And so our thought in right now, just as we begin to develop next year, is that at regional sites, regional service centers across the state, there will be every other week redesign team meetings. There'll be facilitated discussions, and follow a similar process to what the Mercury school districts have followed this year. And so that's something that you'll need to take on as a district and think about. Do we have the capacity, and do we have the resources and the will to make the time every other week for an entire day for the redesign teams in each building to be out of the building at a regional service center working on redesign? So that's something that that definitely needs to be taken into consideration as far as the time that redesign takes in 1 year.
Yes, this timeline is definitely compressed in that there will be a lot of discussion, a lot of planning, but there's also that quick turnaround of, you're not going to talk about something for 2 years before you try something. There's going to be a lot of planning and a lot of time dedicated to it, but then, within 6 months, you're going to already be piloting prototypes of things that you'll want to put in your redesign plan. So the Mercury schools have given us really good feedback on that. They said that the fast pace has been intimidating at times, but definitely necessary, because they felt like there isn't time to stall out. And
we also adopted some of the content from the book 4 Disciplines of Execution that talks about when you're going through high level change and rapid change, like what the redesign effort really requires, is that to focus on the wildly important for 20% of your week, and the 80% of the time, the rest of the week, is devoted to the whirlwind, the day-to-day that's not going to change. But we've asked the Mercury schools and some of our Gemini schools to follow this as well, but to redesign 20% of each week, knowing that the whirlwind, the 80% of the rest of the week will also be something that has to be done. So just to give you a little bit of a taste of the time commitment.
All right. Well, in closing, if you want more information about Gemini 2, there is a webinar that was recorded that Randy and Brad did, and there is another one coming up. If you need direct links to that, please email Teresa Cody or Jay or myself, and we'll get you that link. We look forward to working with you. We hope that you will consider the Gemini 2. It's the most exciting time in Kansas education, and we want you on board. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thanks for your time.
Have a great day.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for checking into the Lunch Hot Topics here from KSDE. My name is Branden Johnson, Assistant Director on the Career Standards Assessment Services team, and I'm just giving you an update on the CPR requirements that our Board of Education passed that will now impact all of our districts throughout the state. The things that you need to be aware of, right now, this doesn't really impact anybody as of right now. Okay, so right now, everything you've been doing in your health classes is fine. Everybody that's taken health is good to go. There's no change for anybody this school year. All right, but what it does mean for you going forward is that you probably need to start having the conversations with your current health teachers, PE teachers, whoever might be teaching the health requirements in your building, what they do for CPR, and if that aligns with the standard that we just passed to add into the health model standards. And if they all line up and you're already doing everything that meets the requirements, you're good to go. If you have those conversations and you're not quite meeting the expectations of the model standards, just have a conversation with what you think would be the best way to meet those standards going forward. Is it setting up something with the service center so that you can rent out the kits and use those once a week every semester? Is it buying your own kit from the American Heart Association? Is it expanding on the CPR training that you already do just so it meets the minimum expectations? It's really up to each district to make sure that they can meet those expectations and help the students meet the CPR standard that's in the health requirement. Okay? So again, health education is a graduation requirement for Kansas students. CPR is not a separate thing that will be on the transcript. However, the health credit will appear. So if you're currently teaching health in your PE class, continue to do so. Just try to make sure that you can fit in the CPR model standard within that time frame, and you'll be meeting the expectation. The goal of including CPR standards in the Kansas Health Education Standards is to increase the likelihood that students will graduate with CPR skills. This will help us be better stewards within, with health and safety within the community, and better advocates for those people who we might come across in our lifetime who need our help. So this is a great thing that we're doing, and we just want you to be aware of it. Also, right now we have adopted this as a standard 8 to the 2007 health standards requirements. But right now we're in the process of rewriting the health standards for the state of Kansas. So it will actually be included in a different piece, but we'll highlight that and let you know after we get done with that revision process. If you're not aware, the State Board of Education passed this on December 12th, 2017, a unanimous vote, and approved the addition of the CPR training in the model curricular standards for health education. So to put it simply, we just want to help save lives and to empower Kansas high school students to be lifesavers by giving them the skills and confidence needed to help during a cardiac emergency. There shouldn't be too much additional things on your plate. We're hoping that these resources, the KSDE fact sheet that's right there, we'll also have another one on the standards webpage going forward. We also think that the American Heart Association website, right there, that link, will all help you in getting the things you need done in place before the beginning of the 18-19 school year. We're also encouraging all the districts to reach out to their service centers and telling them that they would be interested in using the CPR kits that will be provided to them this spring. This will give them a heads up on what they need to do logistically to meet all of the needs of each of their schools within the CPR kit training requirements. Other things you might need to do is just maybe talk to the other districts in your community and see if maybe you guys want to go in together to buy a couple of kits through the American Heart Association. They'd be more than willing to work with you. All different kinds of resources, all different kinds of opportunities, but just remember that whatever you're doing for health right now is good for the 17-18 school year, starting for the 18-19 school year. We are hoping that all of you will look into using the CPR standards within the health model standards to meet the expectations that all of our students are CPR trained by the time they graduate. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Here is my contact information, and I will be readily available throughout the rest of the school year. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.
Hi, this is Lee Jones. I'm going to give you a brief update on assessments. Start with KELPA 2. The assessment window for KELPA 2 is February 1 through March 9, so we are now underway. Scoring for the writing and speaking must be completed by March 30. The speaking may be scored live as the student is taking the assessment or recorded and scored later. Speaking cannot be administered on iPads. Any special circumstance codes for KELPA 2 must be entered by March 23rd. Scoring materials are available to district test coordinators and building test coordinators in Kite Educator Portal under the Help tab. These are secure materials, so follow test security guidelines when distributing them to scorers. To achieve proficiency, all of the domain scores must be at a level 4 or 5. Beginning this spring, a student only has to score proficient once to not have to take the KELPA 2 again. In the past, the student was required to score proficient 2 consecutive years. Moving on to interim assessments. The predictive interims are in their third window. It runs from February 5 through 16. If your students have participated in either of the first 2 windows, they are registered for the third one. If you wish to have students participate that have previously not participated in the predictive interims, task records would have to be submitted through KIDS to enroll them. The other piece of the interim assessment system are the interim mini tests. Interim mini tests are available for teachers to use as part of the formative process. They are available throughout the school year. Additional mini tests were added to the library in January, and more will be added on February 21. The predictive interims require task records also to enroll students for teachers to use the interims with them. The dynamic learning maps assessments, we are finishing up the embedded window for ELA and mathematics. That ends on February 28th. All of the students who have participated in this part of the DLM assessments are already registered for the spring assessments for ELA, mathematics, history, government, and science. Grade 11 students who have not been involved with the embedded assessments will need to be enrolled via the dynamic learning maps enrollment and roster templates uploaded directly to Kite, and then they will be enrolled for the history, government, and for science. The Kite system generates all of the assessments for the spring window, so teachers do not have to choose EEs or develop instructional plans for the spring assessments. For all of the other spring assessments, including the dynamic learning maps, the testing window for ELA, mathematics, science, and history government opens March 13th and closes April 27th. So test records can be submitted anytime now, and PNPs entered for students who need accommodations. The PNPs should be completed about 2 weeks prior to testing. All of these assessments have 2 sessions, each expected to take students 2 45 to 50-minute class periods. Special circumstance codes for these assessments need to be entered in the system by April 20th. History government is a little bit different than the others this year. One part is machine scored, one part is a writing task that is going to have to be scored by your district. You can administer either part first. We suggest that you might want to do the writing part first and early in the testing window to allow more time to score. Scoring can be done directly in KITE, or student responses may be printed, scored, and scores uploaded to KITE in a template. All scoring must be completed by May 11. For both KELPA 2 and History Government, a score proctor must be entered on the test record that is submitted to KIDS. Additional scores can be added after the students have been registered and tests are available in KITE. Score reports for ELA, mathematics, and science assessment will be available in KITE approximately 1 week after the end of the testing window. The History Government scores will be delayed a little bit due to the scoring not being completed until May 11th. Any questions about assessments as the year goes on, please contact me, Lee Jones, at ljones@ksde.org. Thank you.
Hello, this is Jeanette Nobo, Assistant Director with the Accreditation area in Teacher Licensure and Accreditation, and I'm here to talk to you about KISA today. I'd like to start off with just some general information. First of all, let me start with the KISA visits. Those are scheduled for all systems this year. Whether you're a year 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, you should be having a visit this year. Prior to your visit, please make sure that you complete your initial application, items 4 through 15.1. The rest of it you will be completing after your visit. Make sure that when you complete those items, you save them and then print a copy so that you can give it to your chair and your OVT. This is the KISA initial application. On-site visits for all systems are to be completed by the end of April. We would hope that year 5 visits being accredited this year, we hope that those are able to be completed by April 15th in time for the Accreditation Review Council to then look at them and provide a recommendation to the State Board of Education. Chairs and OVTs should have already been selected by all systems. If you have not selected them, please do so because you do need to have a visit this year. If you have changed your chair from when you completed your KISA initial applications items 1 through 3, if you change those chairs and you have not informed us, please go back into your KISA application and make that correction. It is the only way for us to have information, updated information on who your chair is. This is important because we will be using that information to send the chairs or OVTs meeting information, updated information about the KISA process, and we want to make sure that all chairs get that information. So that is the KISA visits for this year. Next, I just wanted to talk to you about our new accreditation email. This is accreditation@ksde.org. The purpose for that email is to be able to provide you with better support should myself or Bill not be available. At some point, you can always send your question to the accreditation@ksde.org and someone will be sure to answer your questions. Also, we will be providing telephone support calls for all systems, years 1 through years 3, and then years 4 and 5. There will be separate calls for systems in years 1 to 3, and then separate calls for systems in years 4 and 5. And I have a slide that tells you when those calls are. Also, trainings for all systems are in development for the fall of 2018. So we will be providing training with the support of service centers and the Kelly system to all systems years 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're developing that currently so that we could have it ready to roll out fall of 2018. The other thing I wanted to just give you a little bit of information on was that the KISA regulations are still going through the legal review process. It does take a little bit of time, but they're still in the process of review. And as soon as we hear back from Department of Administration, we will be able to have a better idea of when that process will be finalized. Our next slide here shows you when the KISA support system calls will be. Please take a look at the top where it says Systems and KISA Years 1, 2, and 3. These calls will be every Tuesday beginning January 30th, 2018. These calls will be in the morning from 10 to 11. We're only doing 1 hour. It'll be first come, first serve. We do have a limit on how many people can be on the call. So if you are not able to get in because it is full, know that there will be another session happening in the following 2 weeks. So we're having them January through April 24th. Our assumption is that it will die down a little bit as we get closer to the time for the visits to occur. But systems in years 1, 2, and 3 from 10 to 11 in the morning, beginning January 30th, which is next week. Systems in KISA years 4 and 5, those will begin also January 30th, but please take a look that they are from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. So theirs will be in the afternoon and it will be on the same dates. So 1, 2, and 3 in the morning and 4 and 5 in the afternoon. This is the current breakdown of all public and private schools currently in the system. As you can see, year 5, we will have about 9 systems being accredited, about 23 in year 4, and as you can see, those numbers just increase through the following years. Year 1 systems is our largest group. KISA application. All private systems are to complete the KISA initial application. I know that initially the KISA application was not available to the private systems, and so we collected information via surveys. The KISA application is now available to all private systems, so we would like you to complete that KISA initial application. It is really the only thing that we're asking the private systems to complete, particularly if they are advanced ed schools. We have some enhancements in the KISA application. We're in the process of doing a final report for systems in year 5. Those won't affect the majority of the systems except for those 9 that I talked about earlier going through the accreditation process this year. So there'll be a final report for them to complete. We'll let them know when that is finalized. We will also be providing login for chairs to complete the outside visitation workbook. We are not asking the outside visitation team chairs to complete the entire workbook. If you are working with a system in year 4, you don't have to do years 1, 2, 3. You only need to do year 4. So it's really you're completing the OBT workbook based on the year your system is in. The OBT workbooks will be divided in the KISA application by year, so it won't be a full workbook. It'll be broken down by year so that when you upload it back into the system or copy it into the system, we can make sure that you don't override anything that you have written previously. Also, we will be providing a login for our Accreditation Review Council group so that they can have access to the information that they need to look at in order to make an accurate and concise decision on the accreditation recommendation. The Accreditation Review Council, as you probably already know, it is that group that will be making a decision on the recommendation and then providing that recommendation to our State Board of Education, who is the only entity that can accredit schools in Kansas. They have met twice so far, and they will be meeting again on February 21st. On that February 21st meeting, they will begin taking a look at those year 5 data that we have. So because in April they will be making that accreditation decision, so they will begin reviewing that information now in their February meeting. So far, the discussion topics that we have had are understanding the KISA model, expectations for accreditation recommendation, the criteria for accreditation, and identification of data that they would need in order to make an accurate determination on the accreditation status. They have been very busy and are taking their responsibilities very seriously. We have business individuals, higher ed, teachers, K through 12 educators. So it is quite a big mix of individuals who really need to understand the process and work together to make an accurate determination. Our Accreditation Advisory Council or Committee, they have met twice already, and they will meet again on February 5th, just next week. Discussion topics are guidelines for KISA regulations, preliminary discussions on those. They've discussed the KISA application and updates, evidence for the KISA rubrics, and they have begun working on some accreditation criteria guidance. They've also looked at a regulatory guidance document, but because we don't have, on that first bulleted item, because we don't have the regulations still in place, we have not been able to really finalize that, and we don't know exactly how that's going to look. Chairs and outside visitation team trainings. We continue our collaboration with our service centers and Kelly. They have done all the training for this past year. Service centers have worked on the training for the outside visitation team members. And of course, Kelly has done the training for our chairs. We will continue working with them, but because of the timing, because we want to do a really good job on this, what we've decided to do was, instead of doing any additional trainings this coming spring, we will prepare and do a rollout of the revised training in the fall of 2018. Currently, we are preparing a survey for every chair and OBT member who has been trained, not those that are just participating with the system right now, but everybody who has been trained. And that survey should be going out to the field within the next couple of weeks. We're trying to gather information from that to find out, do you feel you have been prepared? What kind of information do you think you would need in a training? What additional, what worked, what did not work from previous trainings? And that information we will use to help us revise the training for the fall of 2018. We're also in the process of developing a chair fact sheet that we hope will come out mid-February. That fact sheet is going to be presented to the advisory council first to get some feedback before it is distributed or placed up on our website. We will also be doing support calls for chairs, working with systems in years 1 through 3, as well as Zooming for chairs working with systems in years 4 and 5. That information we will send out through the Curriculum Leaders Listserv, Principals Listserv, and Superintendent Listservs. For now, because it is most of our critical piece, we are going to provide you with the Zoom information for the KISA years 4 and 5 group right now. The calls for the chairs will also begin February 6th, and they'll be just calls. And that information, like I said, I will be sending it to you via Curriculum News Listserv and the other listservs that we have. Please notice that the February 20th date is a separate Zoom address. That's why we have those boxed in that fashion. So the Zoom address for the ones in February 6th through March and April is in one box, and then that separate Zoom link is February 20th. Those Zooms for the KISA chairs working with systems in years 4 and 5 will begin February 6th, and they will be from 2:30 to 3:30. This is our contact information. Again, as I indicated, we just started our accreditation at KSDE.org, so we would hope that you would use that for any of your questions that you might have. We'll also do a Q&A on that based on the questions that come in. I'm Jeanette Nobo, and then of course Bill Bagshaw, who's our KISA coordinator. That's his contact information. Don't hesitate to give us a call. We're here to support you. Thank you.
Hi, this is Nancy Lister. I am the grant administrator on the Enhanced Learning Maps Grant Award, which was given to the state of Kansas by the U.S. Department of Education in 2015. This is an exciting $5.8 million grant, and we are using that and working in partnership with the states of Alaska, Missouri, Wisconsin, and some teachers in Iowa. And the University of Kansas Center for Research and Assessment Accountability Research and Design Center. We are developing learning maps-based instructional models linking formative assessment with curriculum and instruction for grades 2 through 8 in mathematics and in English language arts. Now we're in year 3, and we have a big push to add over 60 more teachers to our 3rd year training. And this is where I wanted to share this information with you to help stir the pot and see if we can find some new teachers to be part of this program. I have a brief video I'd like to share with you now on the enhanced learning maps. It's about 2.5 minutes. Thank you.
In education, one size does not fit all. Students are best served by instruction that is tailored to their own unique needs. The Enhanced Learning Maps project invites teachers like you to partner with us. The project provides multifaceted materials that foster the conditions for improving student achievement, including online tools deliberately designed to support and inform personalized learning. In short, the learning map model helps teachers adjust instruction to increase student achievement. So, how do you, as a teacher, assess all students in order to meet individualized learning needs? Enhanced Learning Maps resources help teachers tailor their instruction to meet individual students' needs so that all students may reach the highest levels of success. The Learning Map model, developed by the Enhanced Learning Maps project, allows teachers to examine the various smaller learning targets students must reach to achieve robust understanding of a particular topic. Teachers who partner with us will have advanced access to the Enhanced Learning Maps project's instructional resources. These resources provide teachers with an interactive graphic interface packed with research-based instructional tools to help them determine learning goals, develop instructional activities, collect evidence of learning, and address learning needs. Teachers have flexibility in using these materials to assess student learning and inform instructional decisions. Teachers will also receive information about how to adapt or generate their own learning maps-based assessment tools. Enhanced Learning Maps staff collaborate with teachers in 5 states who work with students in grades 2 to 8. Our teachers enjoy working together, trying new approaches, implementing research-based instructional materials, and reflecting on their instruction. They receive ongoing professional development, and we use their feedback to improve the quality of Enhanced Learning Maps instructional resources. For more information, visit our website at enhancedlearningmaps.org.
Nancy here again. On this slide, I hope you will take time to look at some of the benefits that it brings to teachers that are participating and what some of the obligations are of the teachers who participate with us. We have set dates for training. It will be next July in 2018, July 16th and 17th in Topeka, and July 19th and 20th in Wichita. So teachers will have a choice where they want to train and maybe where they prefer to attend that's closer. We hope you will either contact me or Jackie Lakin, who is our primary state partner working on this grant with me, And her email is at the bottom. And also, if you have questions, please call Jackie or I, and visit our enhancedlearningmaps.org website. You can find out what other teachers in Kansas are already participating and get some questions answered. We will send you, if you're interested as teachers, we will send you to a link where you can apply. So thank you for this time, and please give us a call if you have any questions. We will continue recruiting through the winter and into spring until we have our teachers. We're hoping to have over 100 teachers from Kansas participating in the next training. Thank you.
Hello, I am Jackie Lakin, Project Manager for the Kansas Reading Success Program, which provides all Kansas public school students in grades pre-K through 8 with free access to iStation's reading assessments and curriculum. The Kansas Reading Success Program is designed to provide academic support to ensure achievement on grade level reading. iStation is approved for continuing free use for both the 2017 through 18 and the 2018 through 2019 school years. Free and unlimited access to iStation Reading has been available for the Kansas Reading Success Program since 2015. iStation has contracted with Fort Hays State University College of Education to provide a variety of research and data analysis, including an examination of the effects of the iStation reading program on participating students. iStation is an adaptive, computer-delivered program that is both fun and interactive. More than a dozen studies and reviews conducted over the last decade prove iStation's learning programs deliver results. Research also shows that students who consistently use iStation experience greater growth in their reading ability than students who don't. Here is an overview of the program.
Welcome to iStation. Welcome to formative assessments that are fun for students and useful for educators. iStation's Indicators of Progress, or ISIP, are nationally normed, computer-adaptive assessments that measure student growth monthly, requiring only 30 minutes a month. iStation's automatic screening and progress monitoring give teachers more time for effective teaching. Our assessments include game-like activities that keep students engaged and motivated, while generating the data that educators need to inform their instruction. iStation's precise measurements track each student's skill development and seamlessly place them onto individualized learning paths based on their responses. When a student needs more frequent progress monitoring or a more intense intervention plan, iStation's on-demand assessments are available to help teachers target specific skills. Conducted on an ongoing basis, iStation's formative assessments ensure that students are always learning and always progressing. Welcome to Individualized Instruction. Thanks to iStation's award-winning, computer-adaptive curriculum, students get the instruction they need when they need it. iStation offers interactive lessons that present content digitally with engaging animations and game-like activities that make learning fun. Our purposeful instruction identifies a student's needs and adjusts to meet each student's ability. Plus, our layered scaffolding offers differentiation and supports increased complexity. iStation advances alongside every student as they progress. iStation's explicit and direct instruction connects lessons and activities together to increase student comprehension and content mastery. Made for both developing and established learners, iStation supports intervention, development, and enrichment opportunities. Plus, with responsive reteaching, iStation ensures that students master essential concepts. iStation's adaptive curriculum supports the student-centered classroom and has helped over 4 million students advance their reading skills.
One of the most important features about iStation is that it's always on the job. At any moment of the day or night, teachers, principals, and superintendents can generate detailed reports that tell them exactly what they need to know about their students' or school's progress. All the information is there. No manual input, calculation, or syncing required. And not only is the feedback immediate, it's very user-friendly. Instead of a sea of data, iStation delivers the information both graphically and contextually. The reports identify the specific skills students are struggling with, pinpoint the instruction that will help the most, and direct educators toward the appropriate tools in the Teacher Resources section of the iStation website. Every report is completely customizable and can be generated in either English or Spanish. iStation reports even identify the best form of intervention, one-on-one, small group, or whole group instruction, and are organized by student, classroom, school, or district, depending on your needs. One of the most valuable resources on the iStation website is Teacher Resources. It offers a vast library of teacher-led lessons for whole group, small group, or one-on-one instruction. Fully scripted and complete with printable exercises and games, iStation Teacher Resources mimic the first I'll do, then will do, now you do process that teachers naturally use to enhance learning. The lessons even include scripted reteach exercises if students need more explicit instruction. All iStation teacher-led lessons incorporate the most recent educational research and best practices into clear, focused scripts that are suited for novice as well as veteran teachers, even in areas they might not be entirely familiar with. And each one is carefully structured so that it can be completed in 15 to 30 minutes without rushing. Best of all, teachers don't have to guess at or search for the optimal lesson. Based on assessment and online reading instruction results, the iStation Priority Report identifies the students who could benefit from instructional intervention and the exact teacher-led lessons within each student's instructional need. iStation even provides teacher-led lessons formatted for interactive whiteboards. iStation's teacher-led lessons are a valuable resource that teachers can count on to help further a student's growth. Welcome to iStation. Welcome to learning that extends beyond the classroom. iStation's award-winning computer adaptive program strengthens learning in the classroom and extends it beyond with iStation Home. iStation Home gives families and guardians 24/7 access to easy-to-use supplemental home instruction and progress monitoring tools. Integrated with iStation Reading, iStation Home helps students maintain their individualized learning paths between school and home. Teachers can use the assignments feature to give students extra practice with certain concepts. iStation Home also supports self-guided learning. Using the iPractice feature, students can choose which activities to complete. With iStation Home, students can access interactive books based on their individual reading ability, work on building paragraphs to compose an essay, and more. Available for PC, Mac, Chromebook, and iPad, iStation Home is easy for parents to install and access. With iStation Home, you can strengthen the school-to-home connection and help students maximize their learning no matter where they are. Welcome to inclusive support and professional development tailored to meet your needs. iStation's professional development opportunities ensure that educators can make the most of our award-winning digital learning program, accurate assessments, and easy-to-use data reports. Our dedicated trainers have real-world instructional experience. Once classroom teachers themselves, the iStation team knows how to help educators implement and optimize iStation usage. iStation holds frequent training sessions, both regionally and online. Designed in response to popular demand, these sessions train educators to implement iStation successfully and show them how to individualize data reports, set goals for students, and more. Our trainers can also create customized workshops designed and tailored to meet your school's needs and goals. From implementation assistance to instruction on educational best practices, iStation's training and intervention specialists give educators an absolute advantage.
Welcome to an award-winning, research-based program with proven results. Developed by experienced educators, iStation correlates to individual state and Common Core standards and complements both core reading and math programs. Research shows that iStation helps students grow scholastically. Students using iStation Reading or iStation Reading in Espanol make greater gains in overall reading ability compared to students who don't use the program. Plus, students who use iStation Home show greater gains than students who only use iStation at school. iStation's comprehensive e-learning program is proven effective and helps more than 4 million students around the world. iStation is supporting educators, empowering children, and changing lives.
iStation is an award-winning comprehensive e-learning program used by more than 4 million students across the world. Since its founding in 1998, Dallas-based iStation has seen tremendous growth. The company's animated program is now helping students in 44 states and 4 countries to learn and grow. 150,000 Kansas students are currently participating in the program. To learn more about iStation Reading and the statewide Kansas Reading Success Program, visit this website.